right, it's time for you guys to stop playing with my boy Sochan, man. He's on another level. I keep telling you. Keep trying to tell you.
I want some nasty. Are we having fun yet?
All right, so this shouldn't be a long video, but I do want to talk about Sochan again, okay? I'll talk about Sochan every day if I have to. Just got to do what you got to do sometimes, you know what I mean? All right, so first and foremost, big shout out to BetUS for sponsoring this video, but let's go ahead and dive into this. So the top 10 forwards and matchup difficulty. So we can see Dort at the top, Sochan number 2, literally number 2, followed by McDaniels, Dylan Brooks, OG, Derek Jones, Okoro. Yeah, pretty decent defenders on this list. I would say so myself. But it really shows how much faith the San Antonio Spurs have in Sochan as a whole. I see this every now and then, and I think I understand it, but I don't understand it. I see quite a few people at times, especially when it comes to Sochan. If you don't like him, people will instantly say, well, he's not that great of a defender, right? Well, he doesn't really do that much as a defender. Or they'll say, well, you say he's a good defender, but look at the team last year. Their defense, their team defense was awful. There's a difference between an individual player's defense and team defense. We should all know this. Even as good of a defender as Michael Jordan was, his team was a phenomenal defensive team. As great of a defender Tim Duncan was, his team as a whole were really great defenders. So it's a team effort when it comes to winning basketball games. So you can't put it on Sochan. I could easily say, well, Wemby's a great defender, so like why is our team defense so bad? It doesn't work like that. And you're using the exact same argument that kept Wemby from getting Defensive Player of the Year to begin with. So let's not do that. But Sochan individually is a really good defender. And, you know, we can take a look at some things. I want to take a look at this in particular and some of his matchups, some of his key matchups, and how well he did against them. I've done this before, but I want to emphasize it. And when we have news like this on how well he actually does, you know, when it comes to his difficulty and what the Spurs expect out of him, I think that you got to contextualize it and see what that actually looked like. Now, before getting into that, as I said, BetUS sponsored this video. So guys, please, if you are interested, you can head on over to BetUS and use promo code YouTube150 and you will receive 150% bonus on your first of 3 deposits. And then your next 2 deposits, you'll receive 125% bonus up to $2,000. So go check that out. And yeah, just head on over to BetUS, man. But let's go ahead and look at this. Now, I thought long and hard about this, okay? I'm still not super confident in this one, but as far as where the San Antonio Spurs will land in the Western Conference, I'm sure not hype about trying to put them at 9. I'm just not going to do it. But you know what? 10, I don't mind taking that risk, but they're going to have to win quite a few games for this to happen. You can let me know if you think the Spurs will at least make the number 10 seed. I don't know about that. That's a tough one, but you know what? I'm okay with it, and I'm okay with not putting too much on that one. Not too much. Let's just do 15. 15 give you 150. I'm okay with that. I'm gonna place that bet, but that's a tough one. Okay, I'm expecting the Spurs to, and with the improvement of Sochan, with the improvement of Wemby, the improvement of the team as a whole, I'm expecting them not to make the playoffs, and I don't even know if they'll be in the play-in. So this is where I'm like a little hesitant, but I would say I'm more like 60-40 when it comes to that, because I've been really convincing myself that starting lineup looks really good. It looks really good. It's really balanced, I think. And I know Barnes isn't who he used to be. I know Chris Paul isn't who he used to be, but they're still pretty doggone good. And making the assumption that Wemby is as great as he is, or he makes a leap, and Sochan makes a leap as far as just being a really good catch and shoot, 3-point shooter, a decent one. And obviously we got Devin Vassell being Devin Vassell. So I'm gonna roll with it. I'm okay with it. All right, so let's go ahead and look at this. So just contextualizing some things, let's take a look. So we can start with Luka Doncic. Now, we know that Luka is a very, very tough matchup, right? I mean, I think we all can agree there that he is a very, very tough matchup. I wonder, is there any way if I could put these in? Yeah, let's do per game. I don't want to do totals. that doesn't help us that much. All right, here we go. So we can start with Luka. So as far as Luka and his matchup minutes against Luka, it was a total of 6.2 minutes, and we could see that he averaged 12 points, which is pretty good. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you, that's pretty good, but you know, it is Luka. And a total of 51.3 field goal percentage, but 18.8 3-point percentage. So he did a really great job against Luka around the perimeter, and it seems like, you know, he had him uncomfortable, and that's where Luka had to score closer to the basket. So really impressive there, at least from the 3-point percentage there. As far as Steph Curry, I mean, that's tough putting a forward on Steph Curry. He averaged 50% from 3, 50% from the field, 8 points in the course of 7 minutes. So pretty decent there. LeBron James, that's one that comes up quite often. So he was on him. That was only one game, by the way, with Steph. So yeah. And then with, where is he? LeBron James, you got 6.3 minutes here in which he scored 10 points, or he averaged 10 points. I think it was one game in particular he did super well, but it was some other ones where it was really bad. But under 50%, that's all you can ask for right there, with 43.8%. Now, DeMar DeRozan, I think this one's pretty impressive, me personally. So in the course of 3 games, he was on them on average of 6.8 minutes. He scored under 10 points. And as far as field goal percentage, under 50 once again. 100% from 3, but literally I think it was just 1 3 that he took, that he hit. So then you have Jimmy Butler, 6.5 minutes once again, averaged 5.5 points on 37.5 percentage. So yeah, it's pretty impressive across the board. It's not something that's just insane, but these are star caliber players we're talking about. And if you compare Jeremy Sochan to other really good defenders in the league, you'll see, yeah, it was pretty similar numbers. So guys that we would consider lockdown defenders, you see how they did against these same players, and it's either slightly better or just about the same. You know, maybe a little bit worse, but usually it's like just about the same on how well they did against them. SGA, that's another one that will be a very tough matchup, but in the course of 3 games, he was on 5.2 minutes per game. And as far as the amount of points he scored in the course of those games, it was 7.3 points overall on under 50% once again, so 42.9% from the field. And there was another one as well that I wanted to key in on. Let's see. Was it Donovan Mitchell? It was these two, actually. Jaren Jackson Jr. and Donovan Mitchell. So this kind of shows his versatility as a defender. So the Spurs are constantly, and here, keep this in mind, they're constantly putting him on the best player that he has to guard. Like constantly. Jaren Jackson Jr., so this is a center, and this is how he did against Sochan. So he averaged 5.5 minutes on him. He only scored 5.7 points per game. Well, yeah, 5.7 points per game, and his field goal percentage was under 40. So 38% from the field, 25% from 3. So really impressive there. And then Donovan Mitchell, on the course of 2 games, he was on him 5.7 minutes, and it was 9.5 points per game. Let's see, it was another one, and it was over 50%, which is pretty good, and 37.5% from 3. But there were a few, or maybe it was the first game against Donovan Mitchell that he just absolutely locked him down. But you know, did a really great job. So I just want things to be contextualized. I think a lot of times we go into these games and people will say like, well, dude, Luka scored 50 points, right? Like he scored 50 points. Sochan didn't do that great a job. He scored 50 on his head. And it's like, no, actually he didn't. He was only on him a certain amount of time. And while he was on him, it was manageable, right? It's manageable for a player of that caliber. But can't pretend that Luka Doncic had the same amount of success against Sochan as he did against Trey Jones or something like that. That's just not fair, and it's not the reality of the situation. And even if you go and you look at Devin Vassell, which I would say that's probably our last season, probably our second best perimeter defender. Maybe you can say Blake Wesley. I don't know. I'm actually curious what you guys will say about that. But if you look at Devin Vassell and who he was up against and who he had to guard, it was not the same at all. Actually, just for funsies, let's go ahead and do that. Just so we can, like I said, you gotta keep things in perspective. As far as who he had to guard versus who Sochan had to guard, it's night and day. It is absolutely night and day. So let's see here. So if we go to Devin Vassell and NBA.com and we head on over to stats, and if you guys want to look for yourself, you just go to NBA.com, go to their stats, go to matchup, change the regular season because we weren't in the playoffs, and I like to do per game, me personally. But you look at the people that he was on, right? Let's just say the most matchup minutes. Look at these players. These are sometimes the second, usually the third best player that Popovich had him on. So as far as who he spent his time on, you can see Beasley, Jalen, Keegan Murray, Marcus Smart, Malcolm Brogdon, Colin Sexton. Colin Sexton is a really good matchup. That's tough. KCP, Jordan Poole, Bradley Beal. But what you don't see with X amount of minutes is, he went against Luka. He went against Steph Curry this amount of times. He was on Donovan Mitchell. He was on LeBron James. No, it's not that type. With the Spurs, definitely. I'm not saying this doesn't mean Devin Vassell is a bad defender by any means. I think that he is a good lane defender, good help defender. He utilized his skills fairly well, and let's not act like he didn't have a big weight on his shoulder offensively and what we needed him to do, but defensively we didn't lean on him for that. Okay, we just didn't. And it's in the stats. It's right here. As far as who he was guarding, it wasn't star caliber players. Like it just wasn't. All of that was really on Sochan and Wemby for the most part, and they struggled. At times they did pretty well, but they struggled at times because you need more players, right? You need more players. And let's see, just out of curiosity, trying to see the first superstar player I see. We see Tatum. He was 2 minutes. He played 2 minutes on Tatum, and he scored 2.5 on 66%. Yeah, the Spurs just didn't do it. You got Devin Booker. He was only on him for under 2 minutes. Does that say 8 points? No. Okay, that's team points. Okay, I was about to say, I was like, you were on him under 2 minutes and he scored 8 points on your head? Wait. He scored 4 points. You were on a 1.7 and he averaged 4 points? On 62%? Yeah. Look, all I'm saying is give our boy some love. Give Sochan some love. And I think it's important for us to know how important he is to the team. Is he a superstar? No. Is he going to be a superstar? I don't know. But I don't think he has to be, right? He's important to the team. Not everyone on the team has to be a superstar caliber player. And even if we start saying, hey, this is our new top three or big three or whatnot, which I would say that right now, that's what it kind of looks like. It's Wemby, Vassell, Sochan. That's kind of our big three. Just because you're in the big three doesn't mean that every single player in the big three is a superstar caliber player, right? I would say that the Golden State Warriors, for the longest, their big three was Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green. And while Draymond Green was a phenomenal defender, he's still a pretty good defender, but he was a phenomenal one at one point. I don't think anybody would have said Green is a star caliber player. I just don't think that that's the case. So anyways, I will get with you guys later, man. Just wanted to give our boy Sochan a little bit of love and, contextualize it a little bit and show how he did against other matchups. But anyways, shout out to BetUS. Go support that and support the channel, man. Show me some love. Please like this video, subscribe, do all that great stuff, comment. I will get with you guys later. Until next time, man. Bye.